So the question is cash king in Thailand? So let me explain my understanding, and this is just my opinion. Always do your own research. I'm just some YouTube blogger, but this is what I do. If you're using cash machines in Thailand, you will be paying a transaction fee. Now, some UK banks like Halifax, like Virgin, and there are others, will do really good deals when you're making foreign withdrawals. My bank, unfortunately, doesn't. So I pay quite a hefty fee at the end, and I get a bill at the end of each month with all the foreign transaction fees. So I get hit a couple of times. When you're withdrawing, you will have a fee for it's a percentage. So my card is set to withdraw a maximum of 250 a day. I've set that on purpose, so if I do lose the card, I'm not going to lose too much money. Cash tills in Thailand, you can get up to 20,000 baht out per day. 20,000 baht is the equivalent at the moment with the British exchange rate of around about £425. But I do like to bring as much cash as possible and just go to the small exchange tills here. This is a bank here, and next to it you've got the exchange tills here, and then you have the daily rate here. So obviously depending on your currency, they're pretty good with the exchange rate, so they're not far off bank rate, most of them. Now your first port of call for getting cash out is probably going to be at the airport. Yes, you can get cash out at the airport. You're not going to get as good a rate, but you might just need enough cash just to get you out and about to a taxi, just to get you out, and then once you hit resort you can get more cash out then. I personally like to travel with a small amount of cash just to get me going, so I might pop into the post office or Tesco's or wherever, change a little bit of money in the UK, maybe 20-30 pounds. That'll just give me enough to land, get myself a SIM card or an eSIM, get myself a taxi to my resort, and then once I get in resort, I'll then take the cash I've got and go to one of the small exchange booths. Now, the exchange booths, you will need to show your passport to withdraw money. Some of the smaller ones aren't as fussy and don't, but you're going to really need to show your passport. You don't physically need to take your passport. You can actually just take a photograph of your passport. So just take your phone with you, take a shot of it. They'll take a copy of that when they do the transaction for you, and there you go. So that's quite straightforward. How much cash you want to bring, it's completely up to you. What type of holiday you're having, how much you think you spend, are you all inclusive, are you self-catering, are you travelling around, are you a long-term backpacker, etc. When I travel for 2-3 months, there are other options. There are like more card facilities where you can have your main bank account and transfer it into one of these new kind of international transfer fund type cards. There's quite a few about at the moment, so just do your research. Whichever is more convenient. The exchange rate is much lower and you can get a much better deal. So if you're paying in the shop, a lot of the local shops and restaurants don't accept card. Some of the shops, the larger shops like the 7-Elevens, will take a card, but like I say, you might end up with a transaction fee. If you are paying on card, always go for the local currency. They'll hand you the console over where you do put your card in, put your number in, and it'll say pay in local currency or sterling. If it's sterling or whatever home currency you've got, always pick local currency and you'll get the best exchange rate. Otherwise you'll end up with the exchange rate your bank wants to give you, which isn't always favourable, so do take that in mind. Most of the hotels will have a safe, so you can bring your cash with you, secure your money in a safe, just exchange as much as you need as you're travelling. So let's say you bring £1,000 out, I tend to change around about £250 at a time into baht. Just use what I need, then any sterling I can take home with me, and then it's not wasted. So I hope that answers a couple of the questions. Just trying to think if any other topics I can. Yes, if you are paying at some of the bigger style hotels on card, they will charge you a transaction fee of around about 3.5% on top of your purchase. So let's say you've got a group of friends, you run up a bit of a bill, it's 100 quid for a meal and drinks, you pay for it on your card and split the money afterwards. You will be paying a premium, and you probably will also be paying, because it's going, the hotel 7% service charge as well. So you kind of like hit with like a 10% extra if you're just kind of going along and doing a cash transaction. Some of the hotels, they won't charge you the 7% VAT, and then obviously you haven't got the 3% transaction fee. So cash is king. Yeah, if you go into the small gift shops, if you're going for a massage, if you're buying some clothes, souvenirs, these places don't take card, it's all cash. So if that helps, if that information is useful, as I say, do your research before you come. One last thing I will say with my bank especially, if I don't notify them I'm doing travelling outside Europe, they will stop my card and class it as fraudulent transaction. So if you're travelling for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks at a time, you haven't notified your bank, you can end up in a bit of bother, and then you've got a lot of conversations with your bank trying to get a new card sent to you to reactivate it, which is a huge headache. I've had that happen to me before. I have personally got around about 3 different bank accounts, so I do bring a couple of different credit cards and 2 or 3 different bank cards from different banks. So if I've had a card skimmed or cloned, there is a fraud problem, I can always transfer money from one account to another. That account gets shut down, that card gets stopped, I've got another card to use. So that has happened to me twice now. Once in Bangkok, I got card skimmed at one of the hotels, and in Manchester when I went to pay for petrol, I got my card cloned and skimmed at a petrol station. Luckily on both occasions all the money was returned. The bank did sort it, but it does take quite a while. You end up on the phone to the fraud department for hours on end. I dread to think what a phone call would cost you in Thailand to discuss your problems banking. You could be spending 50, 60, 70 quid on a call to your bank just to remedy a problem. Your card might also be stopped, and you haven't got a card. So my advice would be bring a couple of credit cards, stick all your big purchases on credit cards. Do take the hit on the 3% service charge. If you're booking hotels, I book them through booking sites. You get the best deals on there, I think. Once the hotel's booked, there's no charge to pay. You just go straight through. The hotel's done and dusted, and just carry on with the holiday. So yeah, the answer to the question, cash is still king in Thailand. If you found this of any interest, do give my channel a thumbs up, and it does help. It helps my channel grow. So that's the end of today's video on banking. So thank you for watching.